You wanted it, and I have it. The PlayStation 5 is awesome, I mean it. I've had so much fun playing with it and experiencing the next-gen goodness that comes with it. Of course, my purchase won't be fully justified until next year, when more next-generation games finally get released on this console. As you know, here on Afro's Curiosities, we don't do the norm. When I first started thinking about covering PS5 related content, nobody seemed to be testing out the various resolutions that the PS5 can output, especially the 1080i mode, which makes no sense to include in 2020. So I decided to test it out for myself, naturally. You folks know that I often like to test out things that most people won't be debating. Not to mention, if anyone wants to see how the different resolutions affect the graphics, well, this video is here for that very reason. For this video, I will be using a few PS5 and PS4 games in different video outputs and modes to see what differences occur between the three. Yes, I'm not testing 720p, sorry. Without any more time to waste, let's jump in. Spider-Man Miles Morales is first up. This incredible game is a sequel or something to the 2018 Spider-Man game, and damn, I love it. The graphics, the characters and the gameplay are all first class here. I could just beat up enemies forever, and swinging around the city is just exhilarating. Anyway, this is the 4K visual mode you are seeing now. It looks incredible and holds a stable 30 FPS. I'm wowed, that's for sure. Although most people will want to use the performance mode, which gives you 60 FPS, albeit with less graphical effects and a lower base resolution. Regardless, this game rocks!
Put down your weapon!
Now let's bring in the 1080i and 1080p modes. The 1080p mode is basically a lower quality version of 4K, while 1080i looks very aliased and sometimes shimmers depending on what's happening on screen. The de-interlacing process is handled by OBS on my end, and I'm using the Yadif 2x option. Without this, the interlaced footage shows massive combing artifacts. Ugh. Now see which of the three you like best. The remastered version of Spider-Man 2018 has all of the same modes and upgrades as Miles Morales. As a result, both games have the same look and only the weather changes between the two games. See which modes and resolutions look the best to you.
Literally didn't see that coming.
Cover the front!
Hey guys, you got prescriptions for this stuff?
I got him good! Come on, get up! Take this!
Dirt 5 is next, and I left the game running in image quality mode since the game already targets 4K at 60 frames per second across all modes except 120 frames, which I don't have. Anyway, Dirt 5 is an impressive looking launch game. Certainly nice to see what can be achieved so early in the life of next-gen consoles. Not to mention, the game is just flat out to the wall fun too. The sound design also impresses me greatly too. As for the graphics, I think it's pretty clear which modes come out on top. The 4K mode will use dynamic resolution scaling, so it's not always presented in native 4K depending on what's going on at the time. I still can't understand why 1080i is supported though. Side by side, 1080p easily crushes it and 4K just pulls way ahead. Here's a weird game for you, Worms Wumble. I love the Worms franchise, but I'm not sure it needed to be an online 2D shooting game. I miss when the games were all about strategy and watching your little worm suffer okay, I'm off topic now. Anyway, this game has no toggle for graphics, so I guess it's native to what resolution you picked in the menu? It's no contest by now. This game looks really rough in 1080i, more so than the games I've looked at so far. I just don't get it, why is this interlaced mode even included on the PS5? If this device could output component video then sure, no problem, but over HDMI? Why? Now, here's a quick look at both Bugsnax and Astro's Playroom. These games have no option to adjust graphics within the game, so as you'd expect by now, 1080i is the worst, 1080p is in the middle, and 4K is the best. Actually, while I'm here, why is 1440p not supported? I think that resolution would be perfect since it's better than 1080p and gives the PlayStation 5 more headroom to hit 60 FPS or better in these next generation games. I really hope Sony supports 1440p resolution in the future. I would happily use it if it meant more games could hit 60 FPS and have some of the advanced graphics like ray tracing enabled at the same time. Right, let's see if PlayStation 4 games respond differently to the various resolution changes. First, Gran Turismo Sport. I'm using a replay I saved since I can easily compare all three resolutions using this method. So, both the 1080i and 1080p resolutions have the replay mode running at 60 frames per second while the 4K mode only has it running at 30. I guess the PS4 Pro's quality mode had 4K replays locked to this frame rate. Anyway, it looks as if just like PlayStation 5 titles, the video output does have a difference, although some of it has to go in favour of lower resolutions just because of the frame rate differences shown here. I guess with PS4 titles, the choices are not perhaps as clear cut compared to the PS5 titles. Kombat X surprised me. This game has very little differences between 1080i, 1080p and 4K. Yes, 1080i looked more aliased than the rest, but other than that, all three look very identical to my eyes.
Got a problem with that?
I guess this game didn't get the PlayStation 4 Pro treatment. I'll let you decide if you think my statement holds up. Crash Bandicoot Sane Trilogy is the last game we shall test. I'm using Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped for this one. Like Mortal Kombat X, this one seems to have little differences when switching resolutions. Even 1080i keeps up, possibly because of the lower frame rate. This is weird as I'm sure this game runs in 2K on the PS4 Pro, or so I've heard. I was expecting a bigger difference to be honest. What's the conclusion then? Well, for most games I tried out, especially on the PlayStation 5, the 1080i mode always looked quite a bit worse than 1080p and of course 4K. Although that's pretty obvious, The bigger question is, why is 1080i even included in the first place? I tried to do some research on this, but to be frank, all I got was people stating there's little difference or it's a TV standard thing. While true, the TV standard thing anyway, there's clearly a difference when looking at the games, and please bear in mind, depending on how your television de-interlaces interlaced content, the added lag might be worse than you'd expect. I can't think of a reason to recommend 1080i over 1080p in this day and age. If you folks out there can, please let me know what reasons why you'd personally use 1080i over 1080p, and until my next video, I will see you soon.